Right, okay nerds, here we go then. Third video in the How to Play Dota Better series. We're looking, once again, support duties in the safe lane. Specifically this game, we're looking at a 2-on-2, where we have the Bane, who we're going to be following most intensely, paired up with a Lifestealer, played by Eternal Envy. I would probably call Bane SVG, because I've watched this replay like 4 times, and like 8 more of his replays over the past day trying to find a good one for this, so apologies if I do. Against Keeper of the Light and Bristleback. So this game is Complexity against NP, and if you want to know how far back I had to go to get this replay, yeah, Kiev qualifiers, going back about a month ago. But still relevant. Map's still the same, and the way you play is still the same.
30 seconds to battle.
Well, the way you play 2-on-2 is still the same. So we're going to fast forward a bit up here. Blah blah blah, things happen. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, here we go. And one thing we're going to note that Bane's done is he has warded his own large camp. Now this is not an accident. He's doing this to try and prevent the enemy offlaners from being able to counter his pulls with their own pulls of this large camp. So we'll speed the Reaper back up and we'll start playing. No one hit tank creeps, but both teams are playing this kind of aggressive dual lane kind of status, so Creep Equilibrium's going to get fucked. And kind of a cute little combo Chakra Magic, Bristleback, but first thing SVG does, which I think is pretty smart and worth noting, is that he knows if he runs at this Cottle, Bristle's not going to do anything about it. Bristle's trying to farm creeps and harass Lifestealer. So he might as well make this kind of like a mini one-on-one while he forces Cottle out from the lane the best he can. And if you look at the HP bars, he is very successful in doing so. Bane trades pretty well, especially against someone like Keeper of the Light, who has kind of bad damage, no lifesteal ability, no slow, no real nuke that he can actually cast on the Bane. So Bane's pretty happy with this trade, and this is where I think Complexity actually make a massive mistake. They opt to not block this camp at all. I think what their game plan was, they were going to body block it with Keeper of the Light, but SVG goes for the stack, and if we speed this up and watch, Cottle doesn't make the block in time. So SVG successfully stacks a small camp. Now there's a number of reasons why in this kind of 2-on-2 situation, you'd much rather pull this small camp. And we will start to see some of these as the game progresses. So we'll fast forward this. Just kind of general things. Bane, sitting around. Gonna look to be playing kind of in this channel, but he's waiting really for this pull to come through. Harasses Cottle, tries to prevent that D-ward, but nothing really. Gets gone on, runs straight back to his lane. Note how far, note he didn't stray very far from his lane at all. And even then, the kill potential of this lane without a leveling goo is quite minimal. So, regens up, and this is when he would have already communicated to Eternal Envy that this camp is stacked and ready to go. As of such, Eternal Envy pulls aggro and pulls the creeps into the tower. This is really smart by him because it enables the lane to push out. And when we watch what happens, SVG now realizes, okay, I can go straight for this pull. And he connects the pull through this gap, probably the safest possible way to do it. And because Eternal Envy pushed the lane, the creeps are going to meet over here. And now look how far they are away from SVG pulling this pull camp. SVG is perfectly safe here to get probably 2 last hits and deny all of these creeps. Meanwhile, none of these Radiant creeps are going to die. Lifestealer isn't going to miss anything from this, and if they both decide to come and harass this pull, then Bristle's going to miss farm. Only Cottle comes to harass this pull, and once again he fucks up his timing because he's too late to try and contest that bounty rune at all, I think. So Bane successfully denies this wave, while securing himself some farm, and now Lifestealer starts to benefit from this pull. All these creeps, none of which died, are now going to come through, and he's going to last hit these under tower. Meanwhile, Bane's just playing with Cottle. They're just hitting each other. He's playing in this kind of foggy region uphill, just hitting the keep with the likes. He knows he has advantage. Now, just Costle trying to blast. Bristleback comes over because what can Bristle do while the lane's like here? He can maybe run at Lifestealer a little bit, but he's not really going to achieve anything. And this entire wave goes to Lifestealer for free. He gets this entire wave without any contention from the enemy team. Now, we're going to kind of look at where Bane decides to position himself for the rest of the lane. He's going to be looking to play, not in the channel, but along this kind of line. So, with this tree cut down, he has a very short path to get to either safety under his tier 1, or to help Lifestealer if he gets dived, or if this Bristleback puts too much pressure on. Which he is doing now, but the Bristle falls out after this, so he doesn't really need to. Equivalent on Radiant, you'll be playing in this kind of range here. You'll be trying to play here, scouting for vision. When you pull this camp, you're probably trying to farm it from over here, because your creeps will give you vision. And you don't really need to cut down any trees, because there's like paths here, there's like little paths everywhere, but I guess you could cut down one of these trees, maybe one of these trees, and that will give you an alternate path. And while I was doing that, I missed something, so we'll go back a little bit. Or a lot. Okay, here we go, this is where we were. Now, because SVG, like I said, is playing in this channel, and this tree's cut down, when they try and go on him, which they do in a minute, right here, he doesn't know he's being charged, I don't think. He sees he's getting run at by 2 heroes, and he just runs back to lane. Even with a charge coming through, he's in safety, long before the charge connects. And regen's traded, no one dies, Bristle gets really low, and they both pop salves. But now SVG does something important. He realises he has no more mana left. So, he goes back to base. He could call this courier for something, but that'll be a very long time, and it's crowing bottles and doing far more important things. So, he runs home. He needs to pick up a ward, TP, and he will port back to lane. He's not going to hold on to his TP, he's going to teleport straight back in so he can be helping this Lifestealer. Where's my clock gone? There it is. Because of the way he played, it kind of enables him to get this kill. He sees Kotl leave. Kotl's trying to contest this bounty rune, which I don't know if he was, but it's already gone. Surika took it. And he's left his Bristleback alone now. And Bristleback with no health and no mana is a sad Bristleback. So, SVG's playing the lane pretty well. He's killed himself a nice little first blood. That'll be boots for him. And he just pushes Kotl away. And now, the lane's kind of starting to come to a close. Bristle might come back in. Hello, cat, what do you want? Well, another charge comes through, and look where SVG is. He's in this channel over here. He comes into lane. One thing he does really good here is he holds his Nightmare. A lot of people could have Nightmared that Bristle as he was going on the Lifestealer, but he had the faith, he knew that Lifestealer was going to be okay. And in holding onto this Nightmare like he does, it actually enables him to get a kill. So he Nightmares the Kotl, then they move in, he wakes him up, and then he hits him. Really nice play from SVG, and I think we can all learn a lot from this replay. Had some difficulty finding a Pleb replay, so I'm just going to reiterate the points one more time, and then we'll call it a day. This pull camp, very important. In these kind of 2-on-2 lanes, when you don't have the kill potential, and you just want to sit back and try and get the slow advantage over your enemies, you can utilise this pull camp. The 53 stack being incredibly important. This camp, you can block it, you can also pull it. It's a lot more dangerous to be used than this camp, as discussed. And when you're trying to support your carry, you want to be playing in this kind of channel here, because then you're only a stone's throw away from helping him out, while also scouting out if the enemies are trying to do any big wraparound play. But also not being there just hindering and getting in the way and fucking everything up. So, be more like SVG, stop being bad.